Hello everyone, Tom Ward from PumpAlarm.com. Today I'm going to show you how to install our TextLight. It's a combination visual alarm light and cellular transmitter that can send a text message notification to up to 3 people located anywhere in the world. And today we're going to mount it on a pump control panel and show you how to hook it up. So the things you'll need to know is there's a weatherproof gasket that gets mounted on the bottom of the TextLight so that water doesn't get into your control panel. And then with that gasket are 3 mounting bolts like this, and you'll line up the gasket with the holes and put in your bolts. And then we've gone ahead and pre-drilled the top of our control panel to save time for this video. So in real life, you'll have to drill your panel, but we've already drilled ours. So then we have a control panel here that is for a sewage pumping station in a municipal application. I'm going to feed my wires through the center hole. And then I have 3 other holes for the mounting bolts. So then I'll put the nuts on the bottom of here to secure it into place. So you can see if you have a control panel that doesn't have much room inside, the TextLight is really convenient because it doesn't take up any room inside of your control panel. And what this can be really good for is even if you have an existing SCADA system or phone dialer system, because the TextLight doesn't take up any room inside of your control panel, it's also really useful as a backup alarm monitor. As we all know, sometimes your alarm system doesn't work. This is a very cost-effective way to have a backup alarm, even for a system with a SCADA system. Okay, so now that I have my TextLight mounted on top, I'm going to mount the backup battery. So the TextLight is a cellular transmitter, just like a cellular telephone. So if you lose AC power to this control panel, the TextLight uses its backup battery to continue to monitor for alarms and notify you, as well as tell you that you had a power loss. So we're going to mount our backup battery. It looks like this. It has a little metal pocket to set it in so that it's easy to maintain. This battery is probably good for 5 years out in the field. So every 5 years, if this battery fails to charge, you'll get a notification that you need to replace your battery. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mount our battery pocket inside of the control panel, because if you live in a northern state where it snows in the wintertime, the control panel generates a little bit of heat, which helps the battery. So we're going to put the battery inside of the control panel to keep it a little bit warmer. So we have mating wiring harnesses. This one is for your 120 volt power. We have 2 versions of the TextLight. You can get one for 12 volt DC, which works on battery or a solar panel. But since we're mounting this on a pumping station control panel, we're going to use the 120 volt version of the TextLight. We've got the black, that's our hot wire for 120. Green, that's our ground wire. And white, that's our neutral. So that's going to plug into one of our harnesses. And you can only plug these in one way, so you don't have to worry about plugging it in the wrong way. And they clip into place. And then the other wiring harness is for your alarm signals and your backup battery. So the red and blue wire is for your backup battery. The 2 yellow wires are for alarm channel number 1, and the 2 orange wires are for alarm channel number 2. And there's no polarity on these wires. Okay, so I'm going to plug in this harness like that. And then you'll need to determine where you have 120 volts available in your control panel. In a typical control panel, there's many locations where you can pick up 120 volts. But in my control panel, terminal 5 down here has 120 volts. Terminal A2 is my neutral. And then my ground terminals over here, I have a dedicated ground lug. So those are the terminals I'm going to use to make my terminations. So I'll take my green wire and hook it to the ground lug. Oops. And then my hot wire, the black wire, to terminal 5. And then my white wire, the neutral, to terminal A2. Now, if you don't do wiring for a living and looking in a control panel, it looks intimidating, what I would recommend is that for this step, you hire an electrician and they'll make the wiring terminations for you. Using the product otherwise is easy. When we're done wiring, we'll send text message commands to the product. That's how you configure it. You don't have to buy any special software, but only send text messages to it like you'd text your friend to make it work. Okay, so we've got our power landed. So the TextLight, it monitors the power and the battery condition internally. So if you would lose AC power or if the battery would get low or go bad, it's going to text you and tell you your battery won't charge anymore or your battery voltage is low or that you've lost AC power. So just by landing these wires, you're going to automatically get a loss of power alarm. And when we connect our battery, you'll automatically get a low battery alarm. So you'll know to change it. And then the battery is rechargeable. So if you lose AC power for several hours, it'll run for up to 24 hours on battery backup. When your AC power comes back, it'll recharge the battery. And when it recharges it, it'll tell you that the battery recharged successfully. It'll send you a text message to let you know that. Now, the only other thing that I want to monitor on this control panel is a high level alarm. Okay, so for a typical small panel, the two critical things you want to know for a pump station is that you lost power and that you have high level. Well, in this panel, terminals B5 and B6 are my high level alarm contacts. So I'm going to land my wires on B5 and B6. So we've got our wires landed for power. We'll know if we have AC power present or not. We've got our wires landed for our high level alarm, the most critical alarm we want to know. We want to know if high water level is in our well. And then lastly, we went ahead and pre-crimped our connectors on, and these connectors will come in your accessory bag for the battery. So we'll go ahead and connect our battery. The blue wire is negative, and the red wire is positive. Okay, so this completes the installation part of the TextLight. First, we mount the TextLight on top of the control panel, and you can use the weatherproofing gasket as a template to drill your holes if you want. You secure the TextLight with 3 bolts and nuts. You mount the backup battery pocket inside of your electrical control panel, and then you connect your blue and red wires to your battery. You connect your 120 volt power. You need to locate power inside of your panel, and again, if you're not familiar with electrical wiring, you might want to hire an electrician for this part. And then the only other alarm we wanted to know was high level, and that was on terminal B5 and B6. So now that our product is installed, we can activate it online at pumpalarm.com/activate. Again, this is a cellular product like a cellular telephone, so we have to activate it before it'll work. And once we activate it, then we can send text message commands to the unit to configure it to notify us when we have a low battery, power loss, or a high level alarm.